Australia's fashion samurai Akira Isogawa, who is celebrating not only his 25th anniversary and is doing so in style, with the Powerhouse Museum honouring his life's work by hosting a very special retrospective exhibition and with the release of a very special book.
It's such a relief to be able to detach myself from season to season's trend. I found it something solid, and I found it something that I can entirely rely on.
From his two-storey warehouse in a run-down part of Marrickville, Akira breathes life into pieces of delicately coloured fabric. Downstairs in his atelier, there is a constant activity: drawing, sewing, pressing and cutting. Everything that happens here is under his watchful eye.
This is actually 4 racks, our collection that we are presenting next week. We also use not only 80s vintage inspired printed textile, but we also use Japanese cotton produced in Japan, where I visited actually in January this year.
The Akira story starts 53 years ago in Kyoto, Japan. Kyoto is the former imperial capital of Japan. Just like Akira, it is a perplexing study of contrast. An ancient city electrified by the breathtakingly new.
My hometown Kyoto, it's like an ancient city. It's been actually around way before I was born. In fact, actually more than 1,000 years old.
There one can cruise the futuristic food halls of department stores before zipping up to their traditional floor to view antique kimonos and ancient tea ceremony implements.
What's fascinating about Kyoto, well, it's actually generally speaking Japan, two extreme, modern and then also tradition, they coexist, and it's always interesting.
A city with 2,000 ancient temples and shrines. Here you can glimpse a geisha gliding down a cobblestone lane, bracketed by wooden makiya houses, and feel yourself catapulted back to the 18th century, until you see her duck into a very 21st century taxi, with doors that open and shut automatically. Isogawa was born on December 25th, 1964, into a Kyoto family where tradition was everything. Discipline was high, expectations were fierce, and much remained unsaid.
I remember wanting to express myself fully under the circumstances, like growing up with my family who has such a strong traditional values. And I mean, that's great because it does give you a sense of like a discipline, and it's like being army, almost a bit like that. But at the same time, like being a teenager, like, you know, we want to break all the rules.
Isogawa's father, Hisao, belonged to a clan that was profoundly protective of its bloodline. Isogawas had lived in the same location for hundreds of years, but male heirs were in short supply. With Akira being a gay man, the birth of Akira's brother, Takeshi, in 1960 was a big deal, marking the first child of its generation who could carry on the family line. Akira grew up surrounded by kimonos, uninterested in sport, preferring to spend his time drawing.
Traditional Japanese wear, it is called kimono. Kimono, in English, it means things to wear. It's just a thing that we wear. It's just a square piece of cloth. Easy to fit, and then it has a belt. It's called obi. Because it's such a simply constructed piece of garment, the cloth itself is actually, in fact, that's what makes it special. So they apply like beautiful prints or embroidery on the cloth, and I'm inspired by that.
Usual ups and downs in a family. Isogawa is now at peace with his family. His mother's death from cancer in 2002 was a unifying event, and he remains in regular contact with his brother and his 87-year-old father, stating, "In fact, we are now close."
I enjoy going back and then spend some time with my family. Like, my mother passed away, but however, my father is still well alive, which is great to see him always. Yeah, and I've got siblings, so we gather together at least once a year.
Akira arrived in Sydney on a working holiday in 1986. He was in his early 20s and had only a small amount of money and no English. Some of the first contacts he made were with the recreational arts team, RAT parties, people who were staging the early dance party, where he would help out with costumes.
When I first arrived in Australia, I was 21 years old. I felt that I needed some seriously casual clothes.
He stayed on and enrolled to study fashion design at East Sydney Tech. After that, he began making clothes and would finally debut his label in 1996 at Fashion Week. Several high-profile collaborations followed, with Graham Murphy's Sydney Dance Company and the Australian Ballet. Akira's rise to prominence was fast. 3 years later, he found himself showing twice a year at Paris Fashion Week alongside his idols of Rei Kawakubo, Issey Miyake, and Yohji Yamamoto. Akira has had many recognitions. Australia's first fashion laureate. His work has been shown at many art galleries, including the MCA, National Gallery of Victoria, and now the Powerhouse. He has even appeared on a stamp. One of the turning points was when then Vogue Australia editor Marion Hume featured Akira's red kimono print dress on the front cover worn by Naomi Campbell. Akira talks with much admiration and great respect about the other famous Japanese designers to have shown in Paris.
Issey Miyake is such a master. I mean, when I see his creation, say for example, the way he pleats garment, it's beyond what you imagine, like what one could actually design. I dare compare myself to someone like Issey Miyake.
In Gallery 11, 30 minutes before the doors open to the media, Akira's long-term creative collaborator, Kelvin Harries, is putting the models through their walks. Backstage of Gallery 11 are a maze of rooms. Akira and Kelvin are making the last-minute adjustments to the outfits as the models are fitted. In another area, the Balmain hair team and Napoleon makeup team are working their magic.
Hi, my name's Kate Squires, head makeup artist for Napoleon Purtis. So we're here backstage at the Akira show. The look for today is it's about a polished romanticism. So it's all about making the skin look super polished. So we're using kind of tints of caramel and taupe and beige.
Very exciting to be a part of the 25th year celebration for Akira. Obviously, we wanted to bring something Japanese into the look, so we worked with a really tight head shape and we've pulled all of the hair back to create more of like a sword-like effect with the ends of the hair. Just super clean and chic to complement the clothes.
Akira's show was a palette cleansing sorbet explosion. He showed his mastery of colour with a riot of pinks, lilacs, aquamarines and other gelato shades mixed with metallics and vintage 1980s prints. There were striped silk boxer robes, oversized sweatshirts along with a more layered and romantic style, including pastel organza dresses. It was a bold departure from his trademark Japanese aesthetic, taking the collection on a sportier and more androgynous turn. A major retrospective on Akira's life's work was staged at the Sydney Powerhouse Museum, running from 15th of December 2018 to 30th of June 2019. The exhibition is Akira's first major retrospective, emphasizing his inspirations and influences, starting from a top which was a garment designed by Akira in 1994 for his collection Not Made in Japan. The exhibition is divided into 4 themes: journey, kimono, collaborations, and craftsmanship. Akira indicated that as well as what he has previously donated, he will be donating a further 100 pieces, bringing the museum's archive collection to a total of 200.
Being a fashion designer, though actually I am a fashion designer nowadays, but I never thought of becoming one actually when I was 3 years old or 10 years old, 15 years old, till I actually arrived in Australia.
Unlike your garden variety fashion auteur, Akira seems unfazed by fame, nor remotely interested in fortune. Everything he makes is done from start to finish in his Marrickville atelier. There is a sense of the ancient in the fabrics he chooses, but a clean modernity in the shapes of the ensembles he creates. He is a living embodiment of the spirit of Kyoto, where the ancient coexists alongside the hyper-modern.
Secret to enduring could be not to force myself to do something that I do not want to do. Not going to a territory that I feel uncomfortable. Just do what I feel that I can not only feel comfortable but also I believe in. Because really, after all, not only money, but you've got to actually have passion to keep going.
Akira is an acronym in the world of high fashion. Unlike the other attention-seeking peacocks and flamboyant provocateurs taking their bows on the world stage, he remains shy, softly spoken, and humble. In fashion, he is the ultimate outsider. He appears uninterested in trends or the amount of followers he has on social media. Just an artist, surrounded by fragments of beauty, trying to piece them and the meaning of life together.